Hello everybody, it's Clooney here, back at it again with another video about Cube World, and today I'm discussing the fact that the game finally released, and I actually want to talk about it a little bit because it is kind of interesting, and it is important that this game does well for what it is. But before I get into that, I need to explain what Cube World actually is for some people to understand. See, I know a lot of people probably aren't following from the very beginning, so today, I'm just going to kind of recap what Cube World is, why it's so important that it sells well, and why it's so important to just play this game for what it is, because it is such a unique situation, honestly. It's something that I've never seen happen in the games industry. And I wanted to talk about it because it's such a good-looking game and really technically impressive, honestly. So yeah, let's get into this. Cube World is an open-world RPG made by a pair of developers, Wally and his wife, Pixie, who have been hard at work on the game since 2010, which is almost a full decade ago when you think about it. Now, the game had been in development in 2010 up to 2013, when the game finally got released in its alpha state. Now, this alpha launch was actually very positive and very successful. A lot of people really liked it, and honestly, a lot of people played it and still play it to this day because it was such a fun game and it was so unique among all the other games that were just trying to copy Minecraft. This game was, it still had the whole cube thing going on, the whole voxel Minecraft look to it, but instead it had more of its own identity, and it was unique and just something that was, it was weird, it was new, it was just a new game. And it sported an endless world. It was open world. You could go anywhere you wanted. It was just massive. It was a massive game. But of course, not everything can be positive when a game launches every single time. There's always going to be some weird hitch that happens to get in the way of things. In Wally's case, it was a DDoS attack when the game finally launched. And this is honestly one of the biggest reasons why Cube World got held back so much. And the thing is, nobody really figured out why Wally got DDoSed in the first place. It could have been a whole slew of reasons. Either somebody didn't like the game and that it was getting released, or maybe it was just somebody fucking with a developer who is small and can't really retaliate against them. Either way, the game got held back because they got DDoSed, which essentially, if you don't know what a DDoSing is, I'll explain it very simply. Basically, somebody has a lot of computers, or has a lot of slave computers, which are essentially computers that are infected with some sort of malware or virus or some sort of thing that allows them to be used to access certain servers at certain times. The way a DDoSing works is essentially all these computers all visit one location at the same time, making the traffic overload the server, which then means that the server goes down. That's basically my understanding of it. There's a lot more that goes into it. It's a huge thing to explain, but that's the basics of it. So Wally gets DDoSed, and this is naturally a very traumatic experience. You're a new game developer, you're finally making this new game, and everyone's really excited and really happy for it, and then the servers go down, so you think, oh, I'll go and reset them, that's fine. But then you go and check it, and you learn that, oh no, I can't reset the servers. I'm being DDoSed, and you can't really do anything about it. And the worst part of it is that everyone's, ripping into you for being a bad, game developer or whatever. You're being a bad person because, hey, you're the one who is responsible for the servers, so of course you get blamed for it. So naturally this just leads up to a bunch of trauma from Wally, and then Wally pulls back and updates the game like once or twice before he eventually just goes radio silent forever because Cube World didn't get updated for 6 years after this. In fact, the alpha has just been sitting there on the store page, unbuyable, by the way, because you can't buy it anymore. That's another fun fact. So about a couple years after Cube World was released, it got pulled off of the shelf because Wally, I guess, just didn't want to be selling this game that was a inferior product to what he was making. Now, I don't know when exactly the game got pulled off the shelves. I have to assume that it was at least around 2015 to 2016, because that's when I checked last and I realized that the game wasn't even on sale anymore. So it has to be around that kind of time frame. But even without that official source, the game's community still lived and thrived on without it. A lot of people were pirating the game and still playing it, but it still created this vibrant community even though you couldn't really buy the game officially, so people pirated. I'm not going to sit here and condone piracy, but I will say that for game preservation purposes, yeah, you know what? Them pirating Cube World, I can turn a blind eye to that and the moral ambiguity from whether or not that's okay or not. I mean, there's no way to buy it, so there's no way for them to even make money off of the game. It's okay for them to pirate it, I guess. Still illegal, but it's also, you know, kind of a sort of gray area. And the impressive thing about that community is the fact that even though people were telling them, hey, your game is never going to come out, your game is never going to become a thing, they still believed in it. They still believed in the developer and followed them to the end of the road until finally the game actually came out. And it's kind of amazing that that happened. And not only did the game come out, but the game is looking to be really good. In fact, the game hasn't officially released as of recording this, so I can't really say if it's good or not. But what I can say is this: all the stuff that they've shown us looks very promising in a way that, like, it can't be faked. It's honestly amazing how good this game looks. And the fact that it had so much time and effort and development time put into it is just staggering and mind-blowing. Keep in mind, the gameplay footage that you are seeing behind me is a game that has been made by 2 people over the past 6 years. That is crazy. That is absurd how good that looks. It looks better than, like, not looks like graphically better, because, you know, it's voxels, so people are always going to be like, oh, it's blocky, it's not, you know, it doesn't look graphically comparable to a AAA title. But looking at the game itself, it looks great. It looks like you can explore this whole open world and there's no boundaries. That is so much more, like, impressive than, say, a fucking Bethesda game that's buggy as shit, that's online, that barely works, or like a AAA title that has half of its content gouged out after, like, the fact, because, hey, we need to make money using microtransactions. This game is just purely a game for a game's sake, rather. I don't know how else to put it. It's a game to be a game. It's not a game to make a ton of money off of its player base. And that's really, really something to behold. And honestly, this is why it's so important that we support Cube World as a game. Even though it had a rough past, I think it's important to support Cube World as a game. Which is why, down below, I have a link to the actual Steam page. If you want to check it out and pick up this game for yourself, go ahead, honestly. It's not released yet, and I don't know when it will be released, but I will have the link down below for the game's store page. You should bookmark it. Check it out when it comes out, honestly. You have nothing to lose. I mean, you can always refund it if you don't like it, you know, but I highly doubt that you would want to refund it because it looks like an amazing game. Anyways, I'm done with my little rant about Cube World. I hope you all have an epic day, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Don't forget to hit that like button also, and subscribe for more. Also, we have a Discord server down below. It's really fun. It's gonna be a place where we all hang out and, you know, do just fun stuff. There'll be, you know, community events that happen from time to time, so be sure to join that Discord down below as well. I'll see you next time. Have a great day. Good night.